Hey everybody, this is Olga with AskYourSoul.org, and today I really wanted to go through this beautiful new oracle that I got. It's called the Ceccoli Oracle, and it's by Nicoletta, or actually I think it's pronounced Nicoletta Ceccoli because she's Italian. And I recently, for some reason, got obsessed with with getting this oracle, so I can't wait to see what it's like inside. And the interesting thing about it is that, unlike a lot of the oracles that you see out there, this one is more than anything. I'm not even sure if it's the same thing in English, but in Russian, these are called metaphorical associative cards, MACs. As you can see, they don't have any words on them or any explanations. That's because it's actually up to you to explore what they mean to you and what they represent to you. And so this is something that I wouldn't recommend to someone who's just starting out with oracle cards, to be honest, because if you're just starting out, it's really good to have some actual, words on the cards that kind of help you out, understand what the card is about. But what's cool about them is that in this little booklet that they come with, they still have in a bunch of different languages. This is all the languages that they use, and Russian is one of them. I was so surprised because I got these off of Amazon. Oh, by the way, and the link is below, of course. So the booklet still tells you a little bit about every single card. So for this first one, this one is called Denial. And what also is really cool about these is that it also has the light and dark. But you can see that the meanings are very short, very short. They seem really to the point, which I actually love. Some people would love to maybe see longer ones, but I really like the fact that it's so short and sweet. So actually, if you see, since there's only 32, I think, cards. Yeah, 32. So literally, in English, it's just this much, okay? The rest of the booklet is in other languages. Anyway, so these are very interesting to me because at first when I saw them, and I think there's also a tarot deck by the same author or the same artist. When I first saw them, I kind of felt weird. I was I don't know if I really vibe with them. There's something fascinating about them, but there's also something so dark. It feels but maybe that's my own inner projection. I don't know. So anyway, without further ado, I haven't even opened them because I was seriously saving them for this video, but I'm gonna get this off right now, and then we'll maybe pull a couple of cards just to see if we have a message for you guys today. Okay, one sec. Okay, I'm back, and these are actually glossy. I totally didn't think they were, but that's fine, I guess. It's not that big a deal. Oh, it's interesting that it starts with 1, and then the second one is actually 32. So I'm just gonna go like this. So you see how sad most of these seem? That's really fascinating to me. It's almost for work with your inner child, I feel But these are also so beautiful. I don't know what it is, but they're mesmerizing to me. They're so interesting and different from most of the oracle cards out there. Interesting. Oh, that's the same one that's on the cover. So anyway, I saw them a couple times online, and I kept hearing other people who are into oracle cards and tarot cards, saying that these were amazing. And I was just so curious. I'm why do people love them so much? What's so special about them? They're so kind of I can tell they're really unique, but at the same time, they're so dark to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's almost like they reflect like the deepest, darkest parts of your soul. And it just made me really curious about this, whoever this Nicoletta Ceccoli, whoever she is, because she seems like a very interesting person, wouldn't you say so? Just based off of these pictures. So interesting. But I can totally see how these would be useful as MAC cards, metaphorical associative or associative cards, because they will reflect whatever you want them to reflect. You will see in these cards how you feel, They're very, very, very much open to interpretation. So at first, when I saw that they don't have any wording on them, I was kind of taken aback, because I usually like to have at least a word that would help me kind of like know what to focus on. And that's an interesting one. Look at this. It's just basically like breastfeeding this rabbit. So yeah, but these ones are so open to interpretation, like everything about them. The colors, the actual pictures, the scenarios, and unfortunately I didn't find too much information about the author/illustrator, but I'm so curious, like how did she come to start painting this type of work? Like what, I don't know, she seems like a fascinating lady to me already, and I know nothing about her, but just based off of these pictures, she must have a lot to say. And it almost feels like even... look at this one. It almost feels like even the ones that are like quote-unquote happy cards, I still sense this sadness. And like this one, for example, you see the beautiful colors, and there they are like eating this gingerbread man, but look, he's crying. Like he's actually in pain. So I don't know, very, very cool, very interesting. The colors, the feel of the cards, the message that they convey, so freaking cool. Well, let's pull a couple of them out and see if I can find a message through them for you today. And this is going to be interesting. Okay, I'm back, and by the way, this is what their back looks like, which is also so cool and interesting and creative, right? Okay, so let's see the cards. I'm so curious. So I basically asked the question of what message do people watching this video, whenever this might be, what message do they need to hear from their soul, basically, or from the guides? And this is what we got. So I'm really tempted to see what this guidebook says, and then I'm going to give you kind of my impressions of the cards. Okay. So number 2 is distraction. The modern daily environment is chattering chaos of information and opinions. Staying on top of it all is an impossible task, but many people keep trying nonetheless. The media pitches in to pluck away at your ability to focus. I feel like this is talking about like the coronavirus. Your attention span is being whittled away by small diversions and endless electronic input. You've forgotten what it's like to operate on your own without sharing every thought and experience with others. These distractions are pecking at you like restless birds. Shoo them away. Very cool. And then it says light. There are beautiful and necessary ideas fluttering around you, trying to get your full attention. And dark, information addiction is insidious. Evaluate and correct your habits. Okay, and then number 11, that's improvisation. Don't worry if you don't have a solid plan for how to proceed. Many things are actually better when they develop spontaneously, organically, playfully. Let each step of the process lead you onward to the next. This can refer to a project, an adventure, a relationship, or whatever else you're fretting about at the moment. Rather than scrambling together everything all at once and make it perfect, improvise with what you have on hand and allow room for serendipity. And then the light aspect of this card is the process of improvisation may reveal unknown genius in you. And the dark is the worst that could happen is that you will learn something, which doesn't sound so bad after all. And then number 1 is denial. Interesting. The world can be a mean, scary place. Sometimes you need to shut out all the ugliness and only give your attention to pleasant, pretty things. But you've taken it too far. Don't cover your ears and deny reality. Oh, see what she's doing, covering her ears. When you're in denial about your problems and hope they go away on their own, you may put yourself in danger. Even a small difficulty can easily become a real mess if you refuse to deal with it. Light. Things are not nearly as bad as you feared. Don't exaggerate. And dark. Pain and fear are helpful tools that alert you when something is wrong. Don't ignore them. Very, very interesting. But I will be honest, if I didn't read those meanings, I don't think that's how I would interpret them. To me, this one just seems a little bit chaotic. It's kind of like there's so much stuff going on, but you have to really focus if you want to get out of this, I don't even know what to call it, like this maze of stuff going on, you know? Like if you want to get out of this little tower, you really have to focus on what's important to you and find a way to participate in the creation of your reality. And I'm also really focused on this key for some reason. It's almost like there is a key, like it's available to you. You could be holding it, but you're not for whatever reason. And also, if you notice, there's a little dude over here fighting a dragon. Or it's not a dragon, it's like a lizard. But he's fighting this lizard to save the princess, which is such a typical plot in the fairy tales. But it's like, are you waiting for somebody to save you from this? And if you are, you kind of have to realize that you also have a part to play in this. You also have some responsibility for this to happen, to like get out of this tower. And it's interesting to me how it's all kind of like floating in space. You know, it's, oops, I don't know if you can see that, hopefully. Okay. So it's all kind of like floating in space. It almost makes me think that this is all in your head, you know, like you've created this like tower that's in your head and your mind and you don't know how to get out of it. But then this one does make me think of you choosing your thoughts, because like it said, you know, like these little birds, they can either be all over the place or you can like shoo them away and just tell them to leave you alone. But you're the one who chooses which birds, or aka thoughts, stay with you. You know, which ones do you actually need? And to me, she kind of looks lost. She's kind of like really unsure about what to do. She's kind of like all over the place. And I'm wondering if this is just like a self-reflection. Well, that's what's so cool about these cards, right? Like I told you, because they don't have any words like assigned to them on the cards. You kind of are free to choose your own interpretation, and whatever is inside you, that's what's gonna come out. But to me, that energy just feels very kind of like, both of these feel kind of chaotic and all over the place. But at the same time, all three of them feel like you're in control. Well, except for this one, I feel like this one is the least one that's in control. But these two, God, I just love the colors. I can't get over it. I don't know, this one to me, I know it's a denial, but to me it feels more than anything like you are choosing what you want to have in your reality. Because if you don't want all of these butterflies and bees and like all this chaotic stuff going on, you don't have to have these flowers right next to you. You know, you can always like put them down and just like get rid of them. So it's kind of like you had a lot to do with choosing this current reality, but you don't even see it. You know, you don't even recognize how that's possible. You think that's just the way things are, regardless. But your hands are free, you know, like you can totally choose to like put the flowers down, or you can choose to see what's around you in a different light and not let it bother you as much. So if you feel unsatisfied or unhappy with what's going on around you, don't forget how much power you actually have inside. and how much you can control, even if it feels like you can't control anything. You can always, always control the way you look at things. Just a friendly reminder, you know? So, I don't know, overall, I feel like this message, to me personally, represents like being more careful about which thoughts you let in and how you view your reality, realizing that you have a lot to do with how you feel about it. And also realizing that there is someone who's like trying to help you right now. I don't know if it's a real person, if it's a spirit guide or an angel, but someone is trying to help you out, and it's a matter of like you working together for you to get out of this state of being, this like kind of unease and chaotic state of being. So yeah, that's what I got from these. And again, this is my first time reading them, so hopefully at least some of it rang true for you. I would love to hear your feedback though, and like how you feel about these cards, because they're such an interesting set of cards. And I'm almost kind of like sad that there's only 32 of them, but I guess, you know, if I want like the full 78, I'm gonna have to get the tarot version of it, which I think I might eventually get, but I also heard that a lot of them are literally the same cards. So, I don't know, it's just a matter of preference, I guess. I just find them to be really interesting. And you can even use, like, even with the tarot, you can totally use them intuitively. You can still use them metaphorically. That's kind of what I really like about them. They're very, very open-ended. You can just interpret them however the heck you feel like interpreting them, and that's what helps our intuition the most, I feel like. Anyways, okay, well, I got to run, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough video or flip through or whatever it's called. And I'm also thinking that the next video I'm going to be doing will be on this deck that I also recently got, and I haven't even opened it yet. But this one is by Doreen Virtue, which a lot of you probably know. And these are more like typical oracle cards, but they're Archangel Raphael healing oracle cards. So I'm really actually excited about these. They're not going to be as open-ended, I feel like, as these ones. They're very different, but I'm curious to see what those are like, and maybe they're going to be helpful with some of the readings that I do for people, you know, when it comes to healing and stuff. But I'm still hoping that both of these are going to be really helpful to people that I will do readings for. All right, so, well, have an amazing day or night. And if this deck looks interesting to you, definitely check out the description box because I put the link right below the video. Anyway, okay, you guys have an awesome one. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you could like and or subscribe to my channel. Sending you so much love and light. Have a good one. Bye.